The CR-V, the RAV4, and the Outback are lining up for 2026 like three neighbors who swear they're calm until it's time to fight over who gets the best spot in the driveway. Honda's sticking with refinement, Toyota's dropping a full redesign, and Subaru's rolling up with that tall wagon energy that wins over a certain crowd every single time. Hey guys, it's Scott from CarLandTV, and we're breaking this one down because only one of these three is giving you the best bang for your buck in 2026. Pick wrong, and you'll feel it every day you drive it. But first, do me a quick favor. Tap that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. It ain't required, but those clicks keep this thing rolling and make it easier for me to keep dropping solid car content straight to your screen. Now, let's get back into it. What's actually new for 2026? Let me set the stage first, because these three are not all in the same part of their life cycle. The CR-V already went all new for 2023 as the 6th generation, with a bigger body, new platform, and the current hybrid system. So, by 2026, it is in that mid-cycle sweet spot where Honda does tweaks, not a full reboot. The RAV4 and the Outback are a different story. Both of those are getting full redesigns for 2026, so you are looking at fresh platforms, new bodies, and brand new tech stacks that reset the spec sheet. On the Honda side, the 2026 CR-V is basically a refined version of the SUV that dropped in 2023. Same 6th-gen architecture, same 1.5-liter turbo and 2-motor hybrid setups, but Honda is giving it a facelift with tougher styling, an off-road flavored trail sport hybrid trim, and more standard tech like bigger screens and extra driver assistance baked in on lower trims. That mid-cycle point is usually where Honda has already sorted most early bugs, so from where I sit, the 2026 CR-V looks like the settled one of the group. Toyota is using 2026 to restart the RAV4 story. The new model rides on the latest TNGA-K architecture, goes hybrid only in the US, and brings both regular hybrid and a new plug-in version with way more electric range and real DC fast charging, which almost no other PHEV in this class does. On top of that, Toyota is loading in its new Arene software platform, so the infotainment, voice control, and safety features are essentially software-defined and updatable. Subaru is doing the same kind of clean reboot with the 2026 Outback. They are moving it away from that wagon silhouette into a midsize SUV shape, but it keeps the boxer engines and symmetrical AWD, just tied to a stiffer structure, upgraded eyesight with extra radar, and a quieter cabin with larger digital screens. So when we talk best for your money, keep in mind you are comparing a warmed-up CR-V to two freshly redesigned rigs, and that has big implications for risk, resale, and how many surprises you are willing to live with. Powertrain and efficiency. Powertrains are where your wallet starts talking, so I want to break these three down in terms of what you are actually getting for fuel economy and long-term stress levels, not just brochure numbers. On the CR-V side, Honda is already running a pretty dialed 2-motor hybrid in today's 6th gen. Right now, the CR-V Sport Hybrid is rated around the low 40 miles per gallon, combined in front-wheel drive, and just under that with all-wheel drive, and Honda usually nudges efficiency up a bit with software and small hardware tweaks as the cycle goes on. So for 2026, I am expecting basically the same 1.5 turbo for the gas trims, and the same hybrid layout, maybe 1 or 2 miles per gallon better, and a little smoother calibration. Nothing wild, which honestly is good for reliability and predictability. Toyota is the one swinging for the fences on the RAV4. The current RAV4 hybrid already lands in the low 40 seconds miles per gallon combined, and the RAV4 Prime plug-in gives you over 40 miles of electric range in today's ratings. With Toyota's newer 5th-gen hybrid system showing up in models like the latest Prius and Camry and getting around a 10% bump in efficiency versus the old stuff, it is pretty reasonable to expect the 2026 RAV4 hybrid to tick up a bit on MPG, and the new Prime to clear 50 miles of EV range if they follow the same pattern. That is where you start saving real money if you have a commute and can plug in at home or work. Subaru is more conservative. The Outback is likely to keep the 2.5 non-turbo and 2.4 turbo boxer engines, with minor efficiency gains from friction reduction and CVT tuning. Right now, the 2.5 Outback sits in the upper 20 seconds combined, and the turbo is mid-20 seconds. Even if Subaru squeezes another 1 or 2 miles per gallon out of them, it still will not touch the hybrids from Honda and Toyota on fuel cost. So from a value angle, CR-V and RAV4 hybrids are the ones that really move the needle on gas savings, with the RAV4 Prime sitting at the top if you can actually use the plug-in side every day. Interior space, tech, and daily comfort. Inside these three, your day-to-day life is what really decides the winner. So I want to zoom in on space, comfort, and how the tech actually works. The current CR-V already has one of the best packaged cabins in the class, with around 103.5 cubic feet of passenger volume and about 39.3 cubic feet of cargo behind the second row, stretching to roughly 76.5 cubes with the seats down. Rear legroom is about 41 inches, which is solid even for taller adults. Honda is likely to keep that basic shell for 2026 and just bump the screens and software. So, think the same roomy cabin, same smart storage, but with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto standard, and slightly nicer digital displays layered on top. The 2026 RAV4 is where you see a bigger interior reset. Toyota has already said this new gen runs their Arene-based multimedia system, which powers a new center display, updated voice assistant, and the latest Toyota Safety Sense suite. Cargo space is still strong, with early numbers showing about 37.8 cubic feet behind the rear seats and 70.4 cubic feet with them folded, and the boxy shape gives you a tall, square load area that is easy to pack. I am expecting slightly better seat comfort, better noise isolation, and a cleaner dash layout compared to the current RAV4, which already sells on practicality more than wow factor materials. Outback plays a different game. Recent models give you roughly 109 cubic feet of passenger space and around 32.5 to 32.6 cubic feet of cargo, with the seats up, expanding to about 75.6 to 75.7 cubic feet when you fold them. For 2026, Subaru is stretching the height and going boxier, which should mean more headroom and an even more wagon-like cargo area. Add in the big vertical Starlink touchscreen, physical climate buttons on newer setups, and a low-load floor, and you have the one that feels built for Costco runs, dog crates, and road trip junk. Tech will not feel as fancy as Toyota's Arene setup, but for pure live-in-it practicality, the Outback's cabin still lands near the top. All-wheel drive systems, safety ratings, and rough road ability. When you stack these three on traction, safety, and how well they handle garbage road conditions, the differences get really obvious. Honda's CR-V runs a predictive all-wheel drive system that can send power rearward before the front tires slip. It uses wheel speed data, throttle input, and steering angle to decide when to lock things in, and for everyday rain, light snow, and gravel, it feels planted and calm. The limitation shows up when you point it at anything deeper than a rutted dirt road. Ground clearance sits around 8 inches, the overhangs aren't great, and there are no trail modes that change throttle or traction behavior. The system is tuned for efficiency and stability, not climbing out of a muddy campsite. Toyota's next-gen RAV4 is expected to lean harder into traction tech than the current one. The outgoing RAV4 already offers a torque-vectoring all-wheel drive system that can send up to half of the engine's power to the rear and split it left to right for better cornering and loose surface grip. It also has selectable drive modes like snow, rock, dirt, and mud, and sand. Toyota has been upgrading its off-road algorithms on the Tacoma, Sequoia, and Land Cruiser, so it makes sense that the 2026 RAV4 gets sharper software, better traction mapping, and more consistent torque delivery. Ground clearance on the current model is about 8.6 inches, and the redesign is expected to stay near that number. That puts it slightly ahead of the CR-V for rough road confidence, but still well short of the Outback's posture. The Outback stays the most capable. Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive is full-time, not reactive, so it distributes torque more evenly without waiting for slip. Combine that with X mode, which remaps throttle, transmission, and traction control for deep snow and slippery climbs, and you get real capability without needing a lifted SUV. Ground clearance sits around 8.7 to 9.5 inches, depending on trim, which immediately gives it room to work on ruts and snowbanks. Subaru's crash structure and eyesight system also tend to pull top-tier safety scores, especially in small overlap and pedestrian detection testing. If you deal with weather, gravel, or rural roads regularly, the Outback still sets the standard. The RAV4 sits comfortably in the middle, and the CR-V covers the basics but is built for pavement first. Reliability, ownership cost, and resale projections. When you start talking best for your money, this is where stuff like reliability, repair costs, and resale really separate these three. On the CR-V, the track record is solid. Honda's compact SUV has lived near the top of Consumer Reports and JD Power reliability charts for a long time, especially in terms of engine and transmission. The newer two-motor hybrid system has been out in the Accord and CR-V for a few years now without big, widespread failures popping up. That usually means by 2026, you are in the safer middle stretch of the life cycle where most early issues are already handled. Parts pricing and labor on Hondas are pretty reasonable too, so long-term maintenance tends to come in lower than a lot of rivals. Toyota brings a similar story with a twist. The RAV4 historically has killer resale and strong reliability, especially in hybrid form, and Toyota's hybrid tech has a reputation for going 200,000 plus miles with nothing more than routine service. The one catch with a fully redesigned 2026 RAV4 is first model year risk. Fresh platform, new electronics, new software stack, and possibly a more complex plug-in system on the Prime all mean more places for small bugs to show up early. Long-term, I still expect the RAV4 Hybrid and Prime to hold value like crazy, but if you are paranoid about being the beta tester, waiting a year or two after launch would make sense. The Outback lands in the middle. Subaru engines and all-wheel drive hardware usually hold up well, but the brand has had years where CVTs, infotainment, and random electrical gremlins dragged scores down. If Subaru's updated 2026 platform cleans more of that up, the ownership experience should improve, but I would still budget a little more for long-term CVT service compared to the Honda or Toyota hybrids. Resale on Outback stays strong because the outdoor crowd loves them, but on pure, low-stress, low-cost ownership, the CR-V hybrid and RAV4 hybrid still look like the safer bets. So, which one gives the best overall value? So let's land this and talk about where your money actually makes sense in 2026. If you just want the safest overall bet, the CR-V hybrid is the one that keeps checking boxes without giving you a headache. Proven platform, proven two-motor hybrid, great space, chill maintenance costs, and Honda-level reliability. For somebody who is commuting, hauling kids, doing normal errands, and planning to keep the thing 8 to 12 years, that CR-V is the low-stress pick. You are not chasing the newest tech. You are buying the one that has already settled in. Now, if you care more about saving gas and you are cool with being closer to the front of the tech wave, the 2026 RAV4 hybrid, and especially the new Prime, are where the money play shifts. Toyota's hybrid systems usually age really well, and with the new platform and software, that thing is set up to crush fuel costs and hold resale hard. The Prime is going to make the most sense for folks who can charge at home and do most of their week on electric, then hit gas for road trips. You will probably pay more up front, but long-term, the numbers come back around for a lot of drivers. The Outback stays in its own lane. If your life actually includes dirt, snow, and trailheads, and you want a long roof rig you can toss gear into without thinking, the Subaru still just works. You trade a little efficiency and some reliability margin compared to the Honda and Toyota hybrids, but you gain ground clearance, visibility, and that wagon SUV vibe a lot of people swear by. So if you are asking best choice for my money, I'd rank it this way. CR-V hybrid for safest long-term play. RAV4 hybrid or Prime if you want max efficiency and tech. Outback if your lifestyle is full-time outdoors.